Welcome to our channel.
Today, we're going to talk about the 20 words that make your English excellent. But before, don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this one. Let's go!
English Podcast.
Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about maximizing your communication potential.
We really are.
We're moving well past the basics, past that phase where you can order a coffee or survive a meeting.
Get through customs, that sort of thing.
Exactly. We are entering the realm of true sophistication, where your language doesn't just function, it elevates.
That is the mission today. We're aiming for precision, the kind of language competence that conveys not just what you mean, but the exact degree and the shade of your meaning.
Right.
This whole discussion is really designed to take you from being merely functional to being truly influential.
And the key, as we found, isn't just knowing a huge quantity of words. It's about knowing the precise, potent words for the right context. It's about dominating the nuance.
That's it. Making those subtle distinctions that separate a good argument from a truly compelling one.
We often use an analogy for this, don't we?
We do. It's like having a 12-color crayon box versus, say, a professional set with 120 colors. Your basic English, that's the 12-color box. It's functional. You can complete the drawing, no problem. But if you want to be precise, if you want to render shadows, light, subtle variations,
You need the whole set.
you need the full spectrum. You have to be able to distinguish blue from marine or turquoise or cyan. That kind of precision is intellectual capital.
And that's the elite English we're targeting. So we've selected, 20 words? 20 game changers?
Exactly. And they aren't chosen for being obscure. Quite the opposite. They were picked for their constant appearance in high-level professional memos, in academic discourse, in sophisticated social settings.
So these are the shortcuts, in a way, the verbal shortcuts to sounding more insightful, more intelligent.
And for everyone listening, just remember this one principle. Consistency, not perfection, is the path forward.
That's so important.
It is. If you stumble over the pronunciation of one of these, or maybe use it slightly out of context the first time, that is perfectly fine. That mistake is, it's part of the learning process.
You have to try it out.
You have to. The goal is just to start integrating these tools immediately, so they become a natural part of your conversational repertoire.
Okay, let's do it. Let's unpack this professional and intellectual toolkit, starting with the word that is really the anchor for this whole discussion, nuance.
Nuance. It truly is the foundational concept for advanced communication. It refers specifically to those small differences in meaning or tone or opinion that aren't immediately obvious.
The subtle shading.
The subtle shading that changes absolutely everything about how a message is received.
So when you use the word nuance, you're signaling right away that you're not satisfied with just the surface level stuff.
Exactly.
You're showing you're paying attention to the fine print. So, for example, in a meeting, instead of saying the plan is a bit different, you could say,
You upgrade it. You'd say something like, we need to consider the nuances of the local market. It just shows a sharper perception.
And that transition is huge because it shifts the focus from just, mechanical changes to a deep perceptive understanding.
It does. A lot of learners try to substitute nuance with small details.
I can see that.
But detail is just an element of a larger structure. Nuance carries a much greater intellectual weight. It suggests a qualitative, subtle comprehension that goes beyond just, counting facts.
So overlooking nuance in a negotiation could be a disaster.
It could mean misinterpreting the entire atmosphere of the deal. Absolutely.
So it's not just about sounding smart. It's a tool for strategic analysis.
Yeah.
If you see the nuances in your competitor's argument, you can see where it's weakest.
That's precisely it. Think about analyzing an academic text. A skilled reader doesn't just summarize the main point. They analyze the nuances in the author's word choice or their tone to figure out their underlying bias or hidden assumptions.
Okay, pronunciation. This one can be tricky because of its French origins.
It can. It's joyeux. The key is to avoid a really heavy, sharp U sound. You want a very soft, long U sound. Nuance.
Nuance.
A good practice sentence is, the beauty is in the nuance. That smooth, almost flowing sound is what you're aiming for.
Beautiful. Okay, from recognizing subtlety to expressing our own ideas clearly, let's move to our second tool, articulate.
Articulate.
Right.
So on the surface, it means to speak well and clearly. But its real power is about the logical structure of what's being said. It's about organized thought, expressed smoothly.
And it has two jobs, right? It's an adjective and a verb.
Critically, yes. It functions as both, and that's key.
I think we can all picture that person, maybe a colleague, who talks and talks, use big words, but you walk away and realize they said absolutely nothing of substance.
Yes, great verbosity, zero clarity. They're definitely not articulate.
The opposite.
Articulate is the direct opposite of that. It means your thoughts are structured, they're easy to follow, and they get right to the point. You might use the verb form in a professional context. I aim to articulate our vision clearly to the stakeholders.
That phrase just sounds so capable. It conveys purpose and mastery.
It does. And there's a fascinating technical aspect here with the pronunciation that we really should dig into.
The shift in the sound.
The shift in the stress and the vowel sound, depending on whether it's the adjective or the verb. Nailing this is a real hallmark of an advanced speaker.
Okay, walk us through it.
So when articulate is an adjective describing someone, the stress is early, and the end sounds like Ellen Catter's. Short and clipped. For example, she is a highly articulate speaker. The emphasis is articulate.
Got it. Articulate. And when it's the verb, the action.
The stress shifts. It moves towards the end, and the final syllable becomes articulate, a long A sound. You must articulate your arguments fully. Now, the emphasis is articulate.
Articulate. That's a huge difference.
It is. And the ultimate practice phrase brings it all together. He's articulate, short sound, and therefore able to articulate long sound, his deepest thoughts.
That's a brilliant distinction. Okay, our third word is all about strategic efficiency, especially in business. Leverage.
Leverage. This means strategically using something you already have, an asset, a skill, a position, to get a much greater disproportionate result. It's all about efficiency and intelligence.
It's so much stronger than just saying use or utilize.
Oh, absolutely.
When you say leverage, you're implying a kind of strategic thinking, like using a physical lever to move a huge rock that you could never push with just your hands.
Precisely. In practice, you might say, we must leverage our existing brand recognition to launch this new product. You're not just using the brand, you're maximizing its power to achieve something new.
But wait, I often hear this word used in a way that implies risk, especially in finance. If I leverage my assets, I'm taking on debt, right? There's a downside.
That is a critically important observation, yes. While the primary meaning is maximizing resources, the advanced use absolutely includes an implicit understanding of risk.
So it's not always positive.
Not always. Leverage implies asymmetry, a small input for a large output, and that asymmetry often creates vulnerability. A politician might leverage a small amount of public support to pass a big law, but if that support vanishes,
Their whole position is exposed.
Exactly. The word itself demands that we acknowledge that potential vulnerability.
That adds so much more depth to the term. It's a tool of power, but a risky one.
What about pronunciation? I feel like I hear this two different ways.
You do, and the good news is you're not wrong. Both the long I sound and the short E sound, Levloverin, are correct.
Really?
Yes, widely used in professional settings. The best advice is to just pick one that feels more natural to you and then be consistent with it.
Consistency. Got it. Okay, moving on to word number 4, pragmatic. A word I think every leader wants to be described as.
Absolutely. And pragmatic is so much more than just practical. It means prioritizing tangible, real-world results over ideals or theories or rigid rules.
It's about asking what actually works.
What is the most efficient, effective way to get this done, regardless of theoretical perfection? That's the pragmatic mindset.
So you're the person who steps into a messy situation and says, look, we can debate the perfect solution for 3 weeks, or we can implement the functional one that gets us 80% of the way there by Tuesday. Exactly. It's a ruthless focus on efficiency and outcomes. Yeah, you might hear, the original design was elegant, but we need to take a more pragmatic approach to meet the deadline.
It suggests you've looked at all the messy variables and chosen the most feasible path, even if it's not the perfect one.
Right. It implies a kind of maturity and understanding that perfection can be the enemy of progress. The manager who insists on following a broken rule exactly, even when it's failing.
They are the anti-pragmatists.
The perfect contrast. They're prioritizing process over the outcome. The pronunciation is pretty straightforward. Pragmatic, K-A-K. Just make sure to hit that G sound clearly. Pragmatic.
All right, next up, a word that's vital for both corporate health and personal well-being. Resilience.
Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly and effectively from difficulties, setbacks, or big changes. It's so highly valued because it's not just about strength, it's about adaptive strength.
The ability to get hit and then bounce back to your original shape.
Exactly. You see it in economics, like a market showing resilience after a crash. Or on a personal level, an entrepreneur's resilience after a business failure.
You know, I think a lot of people confuse this with a similar word.
Resistance.
Yes, resistance. And this is a really crucial distinction for clear thinking. Can you walk us through that?
I'd love to. Think of it in terms of material science. Resistance is the property of, say, a steel beam. It stands firm, it endures a massive impact without moving. But if the force is too great, it shatters permanently.
Okay, so resist, then breaks.
Right. Now, resilience is the property of a willow tree in a storm. It bends, it deforms, it gives way to the pressure. But because it's elastic, it has the capacity to snap right back to its original state after the storm passes.
Wow.
So resistance is about enduring impact. Resilience is about surviving impact and recovering.
That steel versus willow tree analogy makes the psychological weight of resilience so clear. It's the art of strategically yielding to survive long term.
That's it, exactly. The pronunciation has a nice Z sound in the middle. Try this one. Building resilience takes intentional effort.
Okay, wrapping up our first set, word number 6 is one I see all the time now, especially with technology. Ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous describes something that seems to be present everywhere at the same time, often just seamlessly integrated into the environment.
It's the perfect sophisticated word for talking about tech trends or market saturation.
It is. When you use ubiquitous, you're not just saying it's everywhere, you're signaling that this thing is now integral to the system itself. Its presence is so pervasive, it's almost invisible.
Like smartphones.
A perfect example, or in business.
Yeah.
Cloud computing and certain AI modules have become ubiquitous in the tech industry. They're not optional anymore. They're woven into the very fabric of how things work.
The pronunciation can be a bit tricky. The emphasis feels a little unnatural at first.
It can. You have to focus strongly on that BIK part. Uzbek.waito. Practice it with the emphasis there. Ubiquitus. If you can nail that central stress, the rest of the word just flows.
Ubiquitus. Got it. That was a really powerful first toolkit. Now let's pivot for a moment to a mini module on what we're calling level pro transit phrases, applying this kind of precision to stressful travel situations.
Yes. So you're at the airport, you have very little time between flights. Don't say, I'm in a rush.
Too weak.
Way too weak. You need professional, assertive phrasing. You say, I'm traveling on a tight connection. Is there a fast track for security? You're using official industry language. It shows you know what you're talking about.
Okay, that's good. What about bags? Instead of asking, how many bags can I take?
You use the regulatory term. Could you clarify the baggage allowance for this specific leg of the journey? It's precise, it's professional.
Love that. And this next one is vital for, when things go wrong.
Yes. The flight is dangerously full. You suspect it's oversold. You use the high leverage term. I've noticed the flight appears to be overbooked. What are the options for compensation?
Knowing that one word, overbooked, is the key to starting that negotiation.
It's everything.
These are great. They ensure that even when you're stressed, you maintain command. Okay, let's shift gears. Section 2, social and academic clarity. Starting with a great word, blatant.
Blatant. It refers to something that is completely obvious, openly done, impossible to ignore. But its real power, and why it's better than just obvious, is the emotional and moral undertone.
Right, it implies a kind of shocking lack of respect.
Exactly. It's not just an observation, it's a critique. It suggests someone acted shamelessly. It carries this necessary weight of indignation.
So casually you could say, that was a blatant lie, but in a formal setting.
Its force is really useful. The student showed a blatant disregard for the rules. That word blatant elevates it from a simple mistake to a shocking transgression.
It's the difference between seeing a typo and seeing plagiarism.
A perfect analogy. We should also distinguish it from a similar word, flagrant. While they're close, flagrant usually applies to a violation of a specific law or rule, where blatant is broader.
Good distinction. Pronunciation is easy on this one, right?
Fairly. Just keep that A sound clear, like E-I-A-P-G-tets.
All right, number 8, tedious. A word for when work just drains you.
And tedious is so different from just boring. Something boring is just dull, it lacks interest. Something tedious is tiring because it's excessively long or slow or repetitive.
It's the relentless effort that exhausts you.
Yes. So watching a bad movie might be boring, but manually reviewing a spreadsheet with 50,000 entries for hours on end.
That is absolutely tedious. The exhaustion comes from the repetition, not necessarily the topic.
That's the crucial distinction. You might say, researching this paper is so tedious, I've been looking at archives for hours. It's the labor that makes you weary.
The feeling of time just stretching out. How do we pronounce it clearly?
Focus on that long I sound at the beginning. TDS.
Okay. Word number 9 is the complete opposite of tedious. It's about a welcome lack of planning. Spontaneous.
Spontaneous is a fantastic positive word for acting on impulse, naturally, without planning. It brings a sense of energy and lightness to a situation.
So instead of saying, let's do something without planning, you say,
Let's go on a spontaneous road trip this weekend. It signals flexibility, fun, adventure.
but there's a pedagogical point here, isn't there?
Yeah.
The difference between spontaneous and impulsive.
Yeah, this is important. While they're related, impulsive can often have a negative feel. It can suggest recklessness or bad judgment. You buy something impulsively and regret it later.
Right.
Spontaneous is almost always positive. It's associated with joyful, harmless fun.
So a spontaneous trip is fun, an impulsive purchase might be a mistake.
Exactly. It's all about the context. The pronunciation stresses the second syllable. Spigmykill.nes.
And now, word number 10, which is so essential for intellectual precision, ambiguous.
Ambiguous is crucial for clarity. If something is ambiguous, it means it's open to multiple interpretations. It has more than one meaning, or it's just unclear. It leaves important information hanging in the air.
In an academic setting, if you get confusing instructions from a professor,
You'd say, the professor's instructions were a bit ambiguous, so I wasn't sure what to write. It's a precise, professional way to state the problem.
or that one-word text message from someone.
The classic example. Trying to figure out what it means. The message is fundamentally ambiguous. And that ambiguity is what creates all the friction and stress.
How do we pronounce that tricky middle part?
You want to really emphasize the big sound,
Yeah.
avisis, your OVO dis. So it's ambiguous.
Perfect. We've got some great tools now. Before we move on to emotions, let's quickly upgrade how we agree and disagree. No more I agree or I disagree.
Please. When you're agreeing completely, use something stronger, more active, like you've hit the nail on the head. It's so much more vivid.
But what about when you only partially agree? You see their point, but you have a caveat.
You use a bridging phrase. Don't just pivot. You say, I see your point, but let's look at the bigger picture here. It shows you're listening before you offer your own take.
And in a more formal setting, like a debate, you don't want to be too blunt.
Never. Avoid, I disagree completely. Instead, use the elegant, respectful phrase, I beg to differ. I think there's another perspective here.
And for just a casual disagreement with friends,
Keep it soft. Introduce doubt, not certainty. I'm not so sure about that, actually. It keeps the conversation friendly.
mastering these phrases means you can challenge ideas while still being sophisticated. This moves us perfectly into section 3, expressing complex emotions. Replacing words like stressed with something more precise, starting with overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. It's so much more specific than busy or even stressed. It's the powerful feeling that the burden of work, of emotions, of tasks is actually exceeding your capacity to handle it.
The feeling of being submerged like you're drowning in it all.
Exactly. You're losing the ability to cope effectively. You might say, I have 3 urgent projects and I'm feeling completely overwhelmed with the workload.
It's the moment you look at your inbox, you have 50 emails, the phone's ringing, you have a meeting in 5 minutes you haven't prepped for.
That's it. Your processing capability is maxed out. That's being overwhelmed.
Let's talk about the pronunciation, especially that ending.
Yes, it's fis, whelmed the ace. The H is silent. And you have to make the final D sound really dry and clipped. It's not overwhelmed. It's a fast, clear, well MD.
Got it. Okay, word number 12, which captures a specific forward-looking anxiety. Apprehensive.
Apprehensive describes feeling a mild anxiety or worry about a future event because of the uncertainty of the outcome. We call it the intellectual butterflies.
The key here is the uncertainty, right? It's not the same as being scared of a known threat.
That's the distinction. If you see a lion walking towards you, you are scared. That's a clear present danger. But if you're waiting for your final exam results, where the outcome is unknown and the stakes are high,
You're apprehensive.
you're apprehensive. The worry is based on anticipation and mystery. So saying, I'm a bit apprehensive about the presentation tomorrow, conveys both the worry and the uncertainty. It's much more insightful than just, I'm nervous.
Right. How's the pronunciation on that?
It's smooth, but the emphasis is on the middle syllable. H-I-E-K-N-A-T-A-S-F. You want to hit that he-en sound. Apprehensive.
Next, a word for that internal conflict we all feel. Ambivalent.
Ambivalent captures the divided heart. It means having two contradictory feelings about something at the exact same time. You want it and you don't want it.
And this is not the same as being indifferent.
Absolutely not. Indifferent means you don't care at all. Ambivalent means you care deeply in two opposite directions.
So if you're offered a dream job in another country, I'm so ambivalent about moving. The opportunity is incredible, but I'll miss my friends so much.
That's a perfect example. You're genuinely torn. Ambivalence is emotional tension. Confusion is intellectual uncertainty. It's recognizing the complex trade-offs in a decision.
It acknowledges the cost of a choice. How do we make sure we're pronouncing it clearly?
Aim is E, but E-L-A-N-T. The key is a really clear V sound, separating it from the B, so it's ambiv, usta.
Okay, shifting from conflict to a peak positive feeling, exhilarated.
Exhilarated is way beyond just happy or very excited. It's a state of extreme euphoria, energy, adrenaline. It's that breathtaking, often physical joy you feel after a huge achievement.
Like finishing a marathon or closing a huge deal at work.
Exactly. I was absolutely exhilarated after finishing my first marathon. The common mistake is to just use it instead of very excited. But excited is the anticipation before the event. Exhilarated is the full, flooding joy after.
Like getting off a roller coaster.
Perfect analogy. Now, the pronunciation is tricky. The H is silent and the X sounds like a Z.
Right.
It's husta.right-t.teed. So you say it like igzilareated. The smoother you make that Z sound, the better.
All right, last one for this section, a more subtle feeling of discomfort. Disconcerted.
Disconcerted describes feeling confused, uncomfortable, or unsettled because something unexpected happened, throwing you off balance.
It's great for describing that internal disturbance when someone's behavior suddenly shifts. She was disconcerted by his sudden change of tone.
Precisely. It shows her equilibrium was disturbed. The analogy we use is an orchestra. The word concert means harmony or agreement. If the orchestra loses its rhythm, it is disconcerted.
It's out of sync.
Out of sync with the situation. That's the feeling. You've lost your composure because of a surprise. The pronunciation is S. So it says that. Do say S did. The stress is on sir, like the in her.
Yeah.
Disconcerted.
Now let's look at how to use these emotional words to support people. This is about precision meeting empathy.
Yes. So your friend is worried. Don't dismiss it. Validate their feeling with sophisticated language. It's perfectly normal to feel a bit apprehensive in this situation. It shows you understand.
And if you're the one feeling stressed and need space instead of leave me alone,
you upgrade it. I'm feeling quite overwhelmed at the moment. Can we discuss this later? It's polite, professional, and clear.
And finally, explaining why you can't make a decision. Avoid saying, I'm confused.
Be more precise. To be honest, I'm still feeling ambivalent about the whole idea. This clarifies that the issue is an emotional conflict, not an intellectual one.
These are great. They elevate social interactions. Okay, section 4, the language of argument and intellect. Starting with a word to make your reasoning undeniable. Compelling.
A compelling argument is one that's so strong, so logical, so interesting that it forces your attention. It makes it very, very difficult to disagree.
It has a magnetic power to convince.
It does. In a report, instead of she makes a good point, you upgrade to she makes a compelling case for reform. It suggests the idea compelled you. It forced you to consider it deeply.
That idea of forced consideration is key. So what makes an argument compelling beyond just good facts?
A truly compelling argument usually has a robust thesis, overwhelming and relevant data pragmatic evidence, and, crucially, a structure that anticipates and refutes counter-arguments.
It feels inescapable.
Exactly. The pronunciation needs that strong middle syllable. Cumulo. Strong emphasis on PL.
Got it. Next, number 17. Paradoxical. A word that shows you appreciate complexity.
Something paradoxical seems absurd or contradictory on the surface, but when you look deeper, it might actually hold a profound truth. Using this word signals sophisticated critical thinking.
Like the classic example, it's paradoxical that the more connected we are online, the lonelier we often feel.
Exactly. It challenges the simple assumption that connection equals closeness. Or in leadership, a leader faces the paradoxical need to maintain control for quality while also decentralizing decisions to empower their team.
So using this word means you're analyzing the complexity of a situation, not simplifying it.
You're analyzing the friction, the tension within the system. The pronunciation looks long, but it's simple if you break it down. Paradox, cancel. The stress is on DOX, pre-NSF, circ.
All right. We talked about articulate earlier, speaking clearly. Now let's go to the highest level. Eloquent.
Eloquent is the art of speaking beautifully and persuasively. It's about using words with fluency, emotional power, and grace. It's the difference between being clear, which is articulate, and truly moving an audience.
The pinnacle of public speaking. His speech was so eloquent that many people were moved to tears.
Right, it requires mastery of timing, rhythm, cadence, word choice. It's a performance skill. Many people are articulate, very few are truly eloquent.
How do we pronounce this elegant word?
Selves, it's civio equistantal. The key is that the middle O is almost silent. It's a schwa sound. So it sounds like eloquent. The whole word should feel light and fluid.
Let's use these 3 words in a quick strategy module for debates.
Okay, if you want to introduce a moment of deep reflection, frame it with paradoxical. Isn't paradoxical that? It opens up the conversation.
And if you want to agree partially before making your own point, a great negotiation tactic.
Use compelling as your bridge. I find your opening argument quite compelling, however. It's elegant.
And if a proposal genuinely worries you, but you don't want to sound too emotional,
use disconcerted. I have to admit, I'm a bit disconcerted by this proposal. It expresses professional discomfort perfectly.
excellent. Okay, down to our final 2 words, which are all about modern usage and capacity. First, the duo, low-key, high-key.
These 2 have become incredibly useful for calibrating the volume of your feelings. Low-key means something is subtle, private, or done in low intensity. It's like saying, I feel this, but I'm not making a big deal about it.
It's a natural replacement for a little bit or somewhat, I low-key want to cancel my plans and just stay home.
Exactly. And high-key is the direct opposite. Obvious, intense, openly admitted, I'm high-key obsessed with this new podcast. It signals you're all in.
These terms just capture a modern desire to be precise about emotional volume.
They do. The joke is, if you say you don't care about something, but you think about it 10 times a day, that's low-key obsession.
The pronunciation is simple, but let's confirm.
Most easies. Just make sure that O sound in low is closed and clear.
And our final word, number 20. Arguably the most powerful modern corporate phrase for managing your time, bandwidth.
Bandwidth. It started as a tech term for data capacity, but it's been elegantly adopted to mean your mental energy, your focus, your time for a task.
It's a massive professional upgrade from the weak excuse, I'm busy.
A huge upgrade. When you say you don't have the bandwidth, you're suggesting you are already productive. You're managing your finite resources intelligently. It's not an excuse. It's a strategic statement.
So the perfect way to say no. I'd love to help, but I just don't have the bandwidth for it this quarter.
It's a professional assertion of intelligent resource management. It reflects that modern view of time and energy as limited resources that need to be allocated wisely.
Now that final pronunciation challenge, the sound.
Yes. A bend.wait day. To get that sound, you have to put the tip of your tongue slightly between your teeth and blow lightly. Bandwidth. Let's practice the full phrase. Do you have the bandwidth for a quick call?
Okay, we have built an amazing toolkit. Before we wrap up, let's just make sure we can handle basic social situations with the same elegance. A final social strategy module.
Let's do it. When you're starting a conversation at a party, don't ask, how do you know him? It can be a little awkward.
We'll direct.
Right. Upgrade to the more fluid. So what's your connection to the host?
Nice. And to complement the atmosphere.
Use the modern term. I love the vibe of this place. It's so cozy, vibrant.
If you need to join a group that's already talking,
be polite and introduce yourself right away. Do you mind if I join you? I'm Tuppy Me. Your name, by the way. It smooths the entry.
And my favorite, the graceful exit. Don't just vanish.
Never. Respect their time.
Yeah.
Say, it was lovely chatting with you. I'm just going to grab a refill. It's polite and clear.
And always thank the host effectively.
Thanks for having me. The party's a total blast. That was a tremendous journey. It should be clear that these aren't just vocabulary words. They're high-leverage tools for critical thinking and precise expression.
They really are. They let you capture those subtle, emotional, and intellectual realities that basic English just can't. By mastering these, you're increasing your ability to perceive, analyze, and articulate reality.
So here is your practical assignment. Choose 3 words you found most compelling today. Maybe ambivalent, pragmatic, and ubiquitous, and make a point of using them confidently in a sentence this week.
The ultimate goal is to increase your conversational bandwidth by replacing those basic phrases with these more sophisticated options. Remember, the mastery of nuance is the ultimate goal of fluency.
And that's our topic for today.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this.
Yeah. See you in the next one. Bye.